Welcome to the Nevis Newscast for Wednesday, March 7th, 2018. I'm Donis Wilkinson Keynes. The Nevis Island Administration's cabinet, led by Premier the Honorable Mark Brantley, today toured the site of the Treasury building reconstruction project. The original building was gutted by fire in January of 2014.
So as we all know, this property was burned to the ground in our first term, and we have committed to rebuilding it. This looks quite promising. My advice as always is to build it quickly, but build it well. We would like to be able to consolidate the services of most of the financial services in terms of inland revenue and IT, and certainly to ensure that we have here at a central point in Nevis a facility to serve Nevis for the next 20, 30, 40 years. This building is quite impressive in terms of its size and scope. We've heard that it will provide for the various services. We have elevators that are in this building. We're going to have handicap access, which I think many people who are living with disabilities have complained that many of our public buildings don't provide for them, so that provision is made. And I think we're forward-looking in terms of what we're seeking to accomplish here.
The building is a Sugar Industry Diversification Foundation SIDF approved project.
I would want to thank the SIDF, the councillors there, because of course substantial financing for this project has come from the SIDF, so I want to express my thanks to them and to say that the construction is local. LEFCO is undertaking the construction, so much of what is happening here is, as I like to say, built for us by us, and in this search situation built with our own resources as well in terms of financial resources. So I'm very happy to see what I've seen here today.
The three-story building, when completed, will house the Treasury, Inland Revenue and Information Technology departments. Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Finance, Colin Dole, facilitated today's tour.
Work started in October 2017, and so that we are projecting by the end of this financial year, work should be substantially advanced on the main structural part of the building as we move toward the finishes. We are hoping that the Treasury and Inland Revenue Department can reoccupy the premises by mid-2019. What we have sought to do is those units which are dealing with the public on a day-to-day basis would be on the bottom floor, and the other units who are not necessarily interfacing with the public daily would be on the top floor. We intend to ensure that the building, when completed, would have the same acoustic look as the other building in Charlestown. The bottom of this building traditionally was stone-clad, and it is the intention on the finished product to have the bottom portion stone-clad as well. The top portion will carry the lapboard, as you have other surrounding buildings in and around Charlestown.
The project is expected to be completed within the next 12 months. On Thursday, March 8th, Nevis will join the rest of the world to celebrate International Women's Day under the theme Press for Progress, Transforming Women's Lives, a theme which the Honorable Hazelbrand Williams says is appropriate and fitting as it evokes a sense of urgency. Mrs. Williams is the Junior Minister of Gender Affairs.
It reminds us that even in the face of growing recognition and achievement, we can't become complacent, but rather, now more than ever, we must come together to motivate families and friends and press forward. Women are still confronted with various challenges. Too many women are still subjected to sexual harassment, sexual abuse, and violence. Too many women are still locked out of the corridors of our parliament and the chambers of our boardrooms. Too many women, and indeed too many young girls, are still yet to realize their true value, potential, and inner self-worth. This must change. And to be sure, the crusade for change continues.
In celebration of International Women's Day 2018 and with a view to continue its bid of transforming women's lives, the Ministry of Health and Gender Affairs will host a variety of activities throughout the month of March.
These activities include our Health is Wealth seminar for women and girls on the 8th March at the St. Paul's Anglican Church Hall from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. The 9th March is designated as Wear Purple Day, where we ask all entities, public and private, to encourage their workers to wear something purple on that day, in a show of support and solidarity with all women. On the 10th, we'll worship at the Manning's Seventh-day Adventist Church. On the 17th, we will have a bike-a-thon, walk-a-thon from the Villa grounds through the streets of Charlestown to Pinnis Beach and back. This will be followed by our International Women's Day motivational seminar for women and girls on the 20th at the Occasions Entertainment Center, where we will invite the participation of young women in an exciting confidence-building session. On the 23rd, we ask everyone to rally with us through the streets of Charlestown to the Villa grounds, where we will be treated to live and enriching performances with powerful messages and uplifting themes.
The month of celebration will close on March 29th in grand style with a cocktail and awards ceremony at the Nevis Performing Arts Center, honoring women in small business. The Nevis Literary and Debating Society today, Wednesday, March 7th, paid tribute to its sponsors and various other persons for making their participation in the 2018 Leeward Islands Debating Competition possible. Assistant Treasurer Yulani Pemberton, Vice President Jerriella Liebert, and floor member of the Society, Shekana Thomas, presented the certificates of appreciation to the sponsors: the Ministry of Education, Nevis Multi-Line Services, National Caribbean Insurance, the Bank of Nevis Limited, the St. Kitts Nevis and Gwillan National Bank, Nevis Cooperative Credit Union, AMS Trustees Nevis Limited, Kittian Food Services, Nevis Housing and Land Development Corporation, the Rehoboth Church, the St. Christopher and Nevis Social Security Board, the Development Bank of St. Kitts and Nevis, Liebert and Dash LP, Scotia Bank, Morton Robinson LP, CIBC First Caribbean International Bank, The Finished Touch Limited, Jacinda Watley Walters, RBTT, and Mr. Franklin Evelyn. President of the Nevis Literary and Debating Society, Vinicia Gums, also expressed gratitude to the other sponsors.
The Literary and Debating Society organized various fundraising activities such as luncheon, bake sales, dress-up days, hot dog and popcorn day, the annual Valentine gift exchange, and our annual caroling expedition during the month of December. The bake sale, due to the enthused members of the society, parents of the members, and donations from the Crown Bakery and Indulge, were deemed successful. To all these persons, I say a hearty thank you for all you have done to help us.
Joan Williams, principal of the Charlestown Secondary School, congratulated the teachers and other members of staff for working with the students.
I also want to thank the office at the Nevis Sixth Form College, Mrs. Pemberton and Miss Blake. They are the ones who would have been spearheading this endeavor, and I want to say thank you to them for pulling it all together. Mr. Keynes, staff sponsor, Miss Jones, Mr. Brown, Mr. Jeffers, and all other members of staff who have worked endlessly, put in many, many hours to ensure that our students are able to deliver their top-notch performance. I want to say thank you very much for your efforts and your sacrifice. To the students themselves, 6 students, they are right here. Well, most of them, one of them is missing at the moment. But I want to thank you very much for being ambassadors of the Charlestown Secondary School and the Nevis Sixth Form College. In this time where we need things, positive things to talk about, I want to thank you very much for putting us once again on the map and letting everyone know that Charlestown Secondary School, Nevis Sixth Form College, has something positive to portray to our community.
Staff sponsor Anselm Keynes congratulated the debaters for an exceptional job in Anguilla. The invocation was delivered by teacher Joshua Brown and the vote of thanks was done by the Secretary of the Nevis Literary and Debating Society, Curator Daniel. Nevis retained the championship title in Anguilla this past weekend. Still to come.
The police cannot be everywhere at all times. So it behooves us as citizens to assist the police.
We'll give you the details after this break.
As Minister of Foreign Affairs, my work requires me to travel quite often. When abroad, I stay in touch with Nevis and all that is happening here by using the Nevis TV mobile app or logging on to nevistvonline.com. I suggest you try it as well.
Welcome back. The Nevis Island Administration is pleased with the progress on the Newcastle Police Station Reconstruction Project. Premier and Minister of Security on Nevis, the Honourable Mark Brantley, says the project is proceeding apace and the NIA Cabinet will shortly make a visit to Newcastle to tour the police station reconstruction project.
We all know, however, that the police station at Newcastle was in a terrible state of disrepair. It was unhealthy. And as part of our commitment to law and order, as part of our commitment to the security forces, the Nevis Island Administration has taken the responsibility of starting that project to ensure that we have a facility at Newcastle that serves the police, serves the security personnel, and also a facility that will serve, of course, the people of Nevis generally, and more specifically, the St. James's area.
At his first press conference, Premier Brantley spoke to security for the island in general.
We have promised an island-wide rollout of CCTV. What was holding us up was the construction of a CCTV, how should I call it, command center, so to speak. And I'm told that that is now moving ahead, that we've identified the necessary space, we have identified the resources, and that we hope to have that constructed quickly so that we can roll out the CCTV program island-wide, as it's also being done in St. Kitts. This is a federal project, part of the assistance that we would have received from our dear friends, the government and people of the Republic of China, Taiwan. So we hope that that will add immeasurably to the tools available to the police in order for them to do their job.
The Premier also used the opportunity to implore the public to cooperate with the police.
Even in the most sophisticated countries in the world, with all the technology available to them, they rely on their people for law enforcement, for interdiction, for prevention of crime. You always hear this, see something, say something. They rely on their people. It's part of the crime fighting initiative. It's part of the culture that they have engineered and created in those countries. And I remind you all, members of the press, that sometimes it's easy to blame the police if something goes wrong. The police cannot be everywhere at all times. So it behooves us as citizens to assist the police. We can give them the tools in terms of transportation, we can give them the tools, forensics, we can give them the tools, CCTV, etc. But at the end of the day, they need your help. And all of us, if we truly want a safe Nevis, must do our part.
Premier, the Honourable Mark Brantley. 14 officers of the St. Kitts Nevis Fire and Rescue Services have begun a week-long course in road traffic collision training to build their life-saving skills. The course, which commenced on Monday, March 5th with a soft opening, will conclude on Friday, March 9th. The course, which is taking place at the Police Training Complex, involves theoretical and practical training sessions in personal safety, equipment familiarization and care, the team approach, stability, glass management, supplementary restraint systems, vehicle hazards and risks, as well as immobilization and extrication. On Thursday, the participants will be given a written evaluation and an extrication exercise, and on Friday, the fire officers will take part in a simulation exercise. Fire Sub-Officer and course instructor Darnell Archibald said the St. Kitts Nevis Fire and Rescue Services has found it necessary to enhance the skills of its officers to improve their capabilities in rescuing victims that may be involved in road traffic collisions. St. Kitts and Nevis, during the past 5 years, has had an influx of vehicles, which makes the potential for accidents more imminent. In January 2018 alone, there were 60 motor vehicle accidents, Fire Sub-Officer Archibald explained. The fire and rescue services have made it a priority to ensure that their first responders are prepared. In doing so, the course is designed to equip the participants with modern techniques and the knowledge required to effectively extricate casualties from motor vehicle accidents. The other instructors are Fire Substation Officer Timothy Martin, who is a regional instructor, and Fire Officer Desmond DeLashley, who has qualifications in firefighter development core skills such as ladder operations, knots, pumps, and hazardous materials, in addition to structural firefighting procedures and techniques, road traffic collisions, casualty care, and vehicle extrication. That's it for this edition of the Nevis Newscast. On behalf of all of us here at the Department of Information, thank you for viewing.